just don't understand why you're 40 years old and playing this game still. So.
Well, I mean, what game do you think you're going to be playing when you're 40? When do you think you're going to stop playing games? What's the age? What's the cutoff age?
When you're out of high school and college.
You're a high school kid?
Yeah, I'm in high school. Yeah.
How old are you?
Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, you foresee yourself in the future quitting something you love, like video games? Do you not love video games? You just cruise through it.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of a waste of time when you're that old. But.
Well, how do you know? You're not old yet. I mean, I can think of probably reasons that video games would be a waste of time for a high school kid, too. Do you have a 4.0? Are you in honor classes to get more than a 4.0?
No, but...
You know what I'm saying? There's more things you could be doing to improve your life than playing video games, too, right?
Yeah, you can study and not play games.
Hey, just recreation, man. Having fun. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right, then.
It's owned by the liberals because you didn't vote properly, so...
Good morning, Patriots, or afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Week in Culture. I am here with John, the problematic white guy, and Jojo, my dog. And yes, we have it's a good day in America. That's all, nature is healing. So how are you, John? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm awesome as always. Busy as usual, I guess. I have some interesting news that I'll save till the end of the show. But things are good. Things are good.
Should be interesting. All right. And I want to give a shout out to anyone that is watching. Let me know if Rumble is okay. For some reason, Rumble has been a little bit unstable. I don't know if it's, because of something to do with how it operates differently from YouTube or something on their end or on my end. I'm not really sure, but just keep me posted, and we will see how that unfolds. So let me know if there's any issues. But we're gonna get into the stream now with the show. If you guys could please hit the like button for me, it would be very helpful. I would like to, I'd like to be able to reach more people, and hitting the like button is the best way to do that. Also, people who are watching on the mobile devices on the vertical stream, same to you guys as well. And hello and welcome to the show. And all right, so we should get into it.
Yes. According to the chat, you are now a problematic white guy yourself because you didn't vote properly.
That's right. I am. And you're welcome, America. Right. Here's to you. Well, you're welcome. Okay, so we had an election. Everybody's talking about it. I know, but we got to talk about it too. And first, I want to talk about some things that I posted on YouTube leading up to this moment that I thought would be relevant before we get into the election itself. Because, well, maybe first what I'll do is I'll ask you, John, if you could, what your thoughts are on the outcome. Is this something that surprised you? Did not surprise you? What are your thoughts on the results of this election?
Well, I mean, I guess the surprise was the lack of a repeat of what happened in 2020 to some degree, which now when you actually look at all the data, the elections preceding it, multiple elections, and now this one right after it, where the 2020 election was an anomaly with 17 million more votes, it's almost as though those votes didn't actually exist. And
almost.
Almost. I mean, it's funny watching people's takeaway with it. Quite honestly, though, if you've been living through the last 4 years with any sensibility and common sense, whatsoever, this only seems like the actual natural course of events. Like, you can only be put through a lockdown authoritarian censorship society for so long before you kind of get so fed up with it that you do what people who are, I guess, cajoled and coddled by that apparatus would look at as, being racist and destructive and just completely hell-bent on, destroying the world and quote-unquote democracy. But there's nothing democratic about what we went through during the last 4 years, like that was authoritarianism. Like the projection has been pretty intense and insane, leading up through it and even coming out of it. You know, like I'm sitting here wondering, does my handmaid get mailed to me in January, or do I have to go down to, or do I have to go to a holding pen and select one of my own choosing? That's kind of.
I think they're going to make an app. Elon Musk is working on an app, and you're going to be able to essentially customize your handmaid to look, you know, like the way you want. So boob sliders and everything. You know, no surgical scars in this
except for
simulator.
except for removing the finger, you know.
Yeah. But we all have fun here, guys. We're just having fun here. So what I want to show you guys before we get into because basically this show is going to be just like reacting to the absolute insane reaction to the results of the election. So I was never really black pilled about this, and I've been saying, you know, I was worried that they were going to try to steal it again. But I was still thinking, you know, I said this like all the way through. I said, no matter who wins, we will learn something valuable from this. Either Trump wins and we learn that there are more people in America that have common sense than we were led to believe, because the media and the cathedral are all about gaslighting you into thinking that, you know, like you are on the wrong side of history. You are clearly not a good person and you deserve everything that's coming to you. Or Kamala wins and we learn what it really would be like to have to deal with 4 years of a female president. And I know that's going to sound really chauvinistic coming from me, but that means you just don't know me. That is what we would have gotten, especially because of how unqualified and unlikable she was. It would have ensured that we never elected one. So ladies, you should be happy that she didn't get in, because that would be the standard by which you would have been measured, and you don't want that. So that's what I would say to that. But I was never really worried about it. And I told my wife, because I was like, well, you know, either way, we're going to learn something. And then it turned out that, you know, Trump didn't just get the electoral vote, he got the popular vote. And what that told me was what I suspected, a part of me suspected, was that the average person that was going to vote for him didn't say anything because they saw what happened to people who spoke openly about their views, especially if those people are not in lockstep with the left. And so they're basically like, well, you know what? I'm just going to keep my head down, and then come November, I'm going to vote. And that's what happened. And in particular, men voted a lot. Women voted a lot too, and they voted for Trump. But men made the difference. I think that historically men don't generally go out and vote with the same kind of fervor that they did this time. I think, I don't know if it's a record, but I know it was significant. And in particular, the Latinos and the blacks, because the white men were still self-hating enough that they were a little held back. And that is a part of the problem, right? That is what the propaganda did. It was to demoralize. And I said this, like if the left had won and they knew they won, they wouldn't need to propagandize us into hating ourselves for being men or for being white or whatever. And the fact is that this proves that they don't have the grip that they thought they had on us, and they are freaking out right now. Not just the women that we're going to totally watch crying in front of their camera in their car, but I'm talking about people who are part of the cathedral, the establishment people, Hollywood celebrities, the people on Twitch, the people, the sort of like
the talking.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, we're both back. What? That was weird.
I have no idea.
No, yeah, me neither. That's super weird. Okay.
We're being censored in real time.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell that is. All right, so I'm sharing this video. That's what I was trying to do.
All right.
We stop that real quick. Just do this again. For some reason, it's should only be once. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah. There we
Sorry
go.
about that. So we're gonna be looking at this video. I think maybe things got a little overheated inside the Video Ninja room, so we're going to.
It killed the stream. You're gonna have to redo.
What is it? Is the stream dead?
Yeah, I just got the closed stream.
No, get out of here.
Oh,
really?
let me double check.
No. We're still up. We're still
Okay.
live.
Okay.
I didn't
Good.
disconnect that. Oh yeah, you're right. It did.
Yeah, like I said,
Oh,
I think it was
fuck.
something on YouTube's end.
Okay, hold on. Shit. Okay, I gotta like do a new stream. So restream.io crashed? Oh, it's still going. Isn't it? Let me just
It says
go into
vertical
my...
works.
Yeah, the vertical's up. We're in that.
Okay.
Fuck, man.
Let's see.
Let me just
I guess
see
if
what's
you get
going
the other
on.
one going.
Rumble's still going.
Yeah.
Actually,
Sorry for the tech issue, everyone.
we have a okay. So it is running, but for some reason it started a new instance. So
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but it is still running. It's just starting another instance.
Okay.
So let me go into the live thing. YouTube is live, but it's on a separate instance for some reason. So, but we are still here. Yeah, no, it's not made for kids. Save. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back.
We're doing it live.
All right. So, anyways, let me start over. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's nice to have you here. Sorry about all that. Please like the stream so that we can get some reach. We're going to be looking at some reactions to the election, particularly from the folks over at Hollywood and in our culture, the media influencers, the talking heads, the activists, etc. But first, I want to open up with this. So I uploaded this video on 3 months ago. I uploaded this video, and I wanted to share. The reason why I wanted to share this because I wanted you all to see how fragile the hold is on the sort of like in the discourse, right? So like we have this looming threat that is the World Economic Forum, and that's a whole other conversation. I'm trying to get Erwin from Nerd Wars to come on. He said he would. So I'm just going to set up a day and we're going to talk, really just talk about the politics of this, because I think that's what he really wants to do. And he can't because
his show is very different. I'm kind of, I've brought things up before. You can see him bristle. So I try not to do that anymore.
Well, I think he wants to talk about it, but
it's just it's
told
what
him
the show's different
yeah,
than this.
the show is not that, so it's
Yeah.
fine. It's a more casual vibe, which is fine. I like doing that. I prefer to have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a very important clip I'm going to play for you guys. I'm going to use the Doge because that's my original avatar. So here we go. Check this out. For some reason, I wanted a dramatic opening. Okay.
Might be elected again shortly.
I think it's very likely. And if it happens, it is likely.
This Diary of a CEO. That's the black guy that hosts it. And this is the host or the guest. And he is number 2. I think he was the number 2 guy. He might be number 1 now in the World Economic Forum at the, under Klaus Schwab. Okay. So they're asking about what is the likelihood of Trump becoming president and how that will impact their plans.
Right.
And if it happens, it is likely to be the kind of like the death blow to what remains of the global order. And he says it openly. Now again, it should be clear that many of these politicians, they present a false dichotomy, a false binary vision of the world, as if you have to choose between patriotism and globalism, between being loyal to your nation and being loyal to some kind of, I don't know, global government or whatever.
So,
I mean, it's pretty obvious. You have to kind of like choose between those extremes, to think that you can have them both is, a way to try to lull you into a false sense of, just security twofold, in that your nation state is unassailable. And, furthermore, that this control state is not necessarily an actual control state. So, you do have to make the distinction. And anybody who can't are the people who have been lulled into this, ability by them to just, like the screaming heads that we'll be seeing later.
This is ultimately a trick. I mean, the guy he's been recorded. You can find videos of him. He's been recorded saying that, he's like, why can't we be gods? Like literally saying that. This is like super villain James Bond type stuff that these guys are up to.
This is why the transhumanist agenda exists.
Yeah, and when they said, well, if Trump gets into office, it's over for us. Like and it's true. Like this is the thing. Their control is not as they don't have as much power over us as you think. And this is what I've been saying for years. Even people on supposedly like my side that are thinking, oh, everything's a psyop. They're just gonna do this. Everything's plotted. Like some people are saying Trump got in on purpose. They let it happen because they're playing 5D chess. It's not that simple, guys. They don't have as much power over us as we are supposed to think. That's like as soon as he got into office, you know what happened? A bunch of like countries were like, oh, we're gonna have to straighten our shit up. All of a sudden, all of these like everybody's like getting their shit together. It's like daddy comes home and the kids have to scramble to clean the house before he gets there. That's essentially what it is. And I think that again, I'm not like I'm not worshiping the guy. I'm saying that it just takes someone with the cojones to step up, and these people shrivel and they shrink away. And this is just the beginning. Like obviously, like we're gonna have to do our part. We're gonna have to roll up our sleeves now. And we're gonna have to like get involved, because these people they're just gonna slither away, hide in the shadows somewhere, and then wait and then come back later. And we have to be ready for that, because that's what's gonna happen. So that was the WEF on Suicide Watch. And then I have this other video that just kind of like tells you like what have we been dealing with for the past 8 years, really, under like leftism. Like what has the left been, how have they been treating us normal folks for the last 8 years? So I'm going to play this. We're not going to talk over it. I'm just going to let it play all the way through. It's about 4 minutes long, and then we'll get your thoughts. Okay? So
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
If reelected, he will be a dictator on day one.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution.
And I will quote, terminate the United States Constitution.
Authoritarianism and totalitarianism. A person who's telling them, I'm going to be a dictator.
Well, Hitler was duly elected. That's right. Right?
Autocracy and dictatorship.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House.
There has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
He's an existential threat to democracy.
I own it all. I am a dictator.
Like acts committed by a dictator, or even says he will be one.
I mean, that is Nazi imagery.
So dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies.
He wants to build camps for millions of people.
He will be a dictator on day one.
The term vermin was really effectively used by Adolf Hitler and by Mussolini.
Things that we see happening today is a sort of a sleepwalking into dictatorship in the United States.
He wants to assert autocratic powers. They've just given him a license for dictatorship.
What did President Trump, what he did today is straight out of a dictator's playbook.
It has historically been the province of dictators like Vladimir Putin, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, or Adolf Hitler.
He is behaving like a Hitler or Mussolini-style fascist dictator.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
He could be violent, that he would connect himself to violent people, and that he figured he was above the law.
Donald Trump believes that he should be the ruler, the dictator of the United States of America.
Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy.
They asked me would I like to debate this gentleman. And I said no. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
That's it right there.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
When they go low, we kick right.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
The biggest terror threat in this country is white
Hey, you're
man.
not actually a
I told
mobster,
Jim
Robert
Rogers
De
for that
Niro.
debate that I thought he should have punched him in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Dressed to look like President Donald Trump gets stabbed to death. I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
The domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind.
The man arrested outside a Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home now faces attempted murder charges.
These are live images, folks, at the doors of the Supreme Court.
On the incident that left Senator Rand Paul with 6 broken ribs. This might be one of my favorite stories.
St. John's Church, known as the Church of the Presidents. It, too, was targeted.
66-year-old James T. Hodgkinson, who had opened fire on the players, apparently deliberately targeting the GOP. 6 people injured, including Congressman Steve Scalise. Suspect, now dead, had a long and public history of anti-Trump and anti-Republican rhetoric.
I think Trump has a great deal of responsibility here.
So.
Yeah, that's a lot of projection.
That's what we've been like looking at for the past 8 years from the left. I mean, that's like, it's just out there. It's in the open, right? So like, and it's, you know, it's subtle sometimes, not in that video, not in that compilation, but you'll find subtle versions of this and overt versions of this. And the funny thing is that when Trump got in the White House, all of a sudden, all that rhetoric about him being a dictator, it was gone. It was like in the mist. Like if he was really that dangerous, they'd be standing out the black gates of Mount Doom, ready to like, you know, take one for the team in order to save democracy. But it was almost like they didn't really believe their own bullshit. And they were like, well, I guess we lost. Like they did all of this, still lost. And they're like, well, I guess we lost. And then they still try to stand on the high ground by saying, well, unlike some people, I'm going to, you know, accept defeat because we live in a democracy. It's like, no, you were trying to convince us that we were literally electing Voldemort. And when we did it anyway, despite your propaganda, you were like, oh, well, shit, what do we do now? Well, I guess we're just going to have to like suck it up.
Yeah,
so I just go ahead.
Yeah, one of the most fun things for me this week has been I was in, you know, I haven't really used Facebook much in the last few years because like I got in, I had to sign up for it back when I was in art school. So subsequently, most of the people that I have, you know, in my friends group on Facebook are people from my time at liberal arts college, and then people that I kind of knew back when I was living in Seattle and whatnot. And so it's been a very interesting week of just kind of like seeing, you know, like these very militant vegans that are, you know, just all about like, oh, I would never eat anything with a face, but you need to choose the love. And then just like seeing them like, you know, like going all off about like women not having the ability to, you know, get abortions on a federal level, and just like their misrepresentation and misunderstanding and all that. And it's just like, you know, and principles supposedly were that, you know, anything with a face deserves to, you know, live freely. So you have more, you know, compassion for a ham sandwich than you do for like, you know, unborn children. And it's like something about that just seems like it's a little bit cognitive dissonant,
almost,
you know,
a bit extreme.
Yeah, like maybe just maybe your, you know, actual principles and values are kind of skewed, and maybe you might be a little bit unhinged in the way that you kind of value the life of food sources more so than your own species. Like, I don't know about that. You know, it's an interesting thing.
Absolutely. So let me grab some. Let's react to some people imploding. And I don't know. Like, I don't have a ton of. I was gonna say I don't have a ton of game news. I mean, a couple of things. No, gaming news stuff. But I mean, like there is some stuff that's related.
Yeah,
so,
there's
like,
a slow week. Mercante went to Canada.
Yeah, Alyssa Mercante stopped working at Kotaku. I think Kotaku laid off a bunch of people, for example, which is good stuff. Various stuff happening in the comic book industry. Heather Antos lost her mind about this. Mark Waid flipped out.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at that as well.
Yeah, this was pretty much the meat of the week, and everything else is just kind of garnish around it.
Yeah. So let me see if I'm just looking for the let me just search for the video I want. Let me see. So it's basically just a general compilation of meltdowns, because meltdowns are fun, right? And here it is, the Incredible Salt Mine. We're gonna look at this one. It's kind of long. I'm gonna ask LP. He's a friend of the channel who made this video. Please don't copyright me, guys. Subscribe to iHypocrite. It's a great channel. And what the hell is this? Don't give me that.
Okay, so we're closing in on almost 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I've been tracking everything that's been going on across the country today. And my most important encounter was when I went out to get my champagne. I was talking to the guy in the store, of course, asking him, did he vote? And he said he did early voting, and he asked me if I early voted. And he asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, no, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not. The women of America are making their voices heard. Reproductive rights is what it all comes down to. And the women are voting in numbers relative to men that are unbelievable. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Ohio.
The Wooble sent me some
stupid
crochet.
ads.
The
I'm sorry,
voice.
I'm poor.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll just say this while we're getting
like
through the ad. Evidently, that is the voice of a windsock.
Plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst. I'm telling you right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election. And then I said to him, you realize.
Let's just react to this naturally if you've never seen this. This is the kind of
your vote, right?
hubris that these people have. This
And I
is
didn't care.
hubris.
Analyst
I
as well.
walked out with my bottle of champagne and happily walked home. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I'm delivering
That
3
didn't age
sermons
well.
tonight, each one to a different group of people. And this one
They weren't
is for the
expecting
Trump
the
supporters. You are going to
All
hell
right.
for this.
Nobody expects the
You
Amish.
are. You're going to
No,
hell
but it
for
was
this.
it was partly the
So
Amish.
does anybody know how to find or hire a hitman or woman?
She can say that and not be banned, by the way. This is another thing we're going to get to.
And
This
get
is the
ready
Wednesday after.
because we're in for one hell of a ride.
I think we already went on
With
this
him
ride,
at the helm.
Rosie. Nothing happened.
And no immunity guardrails.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think you need to sit down.
Hey, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you're ugly and dumb. And that's sad for
I think
you.
these nose rings have
I
like a
know,
transmitter
These
in them that
chatters,
controls
you don't
people's
even
minds.
realize how ugly and
It
dumb
really,
you
like
are.
nowadays, that is how I check. Like if you
I
have a
just
septum
scum,
piercing, I won't
bottom
even
of the barrel
acknowledge you.
scum,
with verbal,
literal
You
pond scum. Go fuck yourselves. Also, Donald Trump supporters, please come into my comments with those stupid copy paste
Fix your ceiling bird, lady.
laughing emojis. I would love to go on every single one of your profiles and reply with a personal insult. TV.
You're gonna be busy, bitch.
Do it.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Do
Where you
it.
break the TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck that
You're living in a first world country when you can break a TV because you're throwing a tantrum and nobody thinks, holy shit, that cost me X amount of dollars. Like in this economy, there's no way that you're this, well, you're just tuned out.
Touch my body, you should have voted for it.
I want to thank some people real quick.
Plot
I want
twist,
to thank the
I
Note
don't.
Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan. No! And thank you, America.
What is this country? Hey, yo!
Hassan,
we're done.
This is a country where you can be a millionaire.
He's really an amazing.
Bitch,
By the
are
way,
we
Twitch
fucking
sang
are we
a happy
serious
birthday
right
song
now?
to him. Twitch.
Are we
Hassan
serious?
Piker. That's how
Fuck the
in
sad
the
music
tank
montage,
for the
bitch.
left they are.
What in the fuck? I'm mad as hell. What the fuck is going on? Y'all sitting here crying. I'm crying too. I'm mad.
He looks like a female Joe Rogan.
What did y'all do?
If you thought you were involuntarily celibate before, wait until you see what women are like when they realize that having one of your babies could cost them their life. Oh, you definitely won't be getting any. And you know what? It's what you deserve. Now
So you don't understand how birth
their
control
career.
works. You don't
They can
understand how
focus on their
condom
female
works.
friendships.
You don't
already
understand
hate the
how,
fact
like,
that
you know,
there
like
are
a
rich aunties out
state-based
there, child-free
abortion
and
system
happy.
works.
You just
Like,
made even more of them.
And one more thing.
When the
in 4
Democrats
years,
had the
there
full
better be
control,
2 women on that fucking ballot.
rather than
There better be
codifying that shit into law, which they had every
most qualified
capability
man
to do,
in the world. I don't
they
want
instead
him on
just
that fucking
played
ballot.
around and got
I'm gonna be
donor
drunk,
money.
but
and
I'm
fucked with
dead
these
ass
women's
serious for
minds.
that safe.
They did.
Fuck you if you voted for Trump, and here's what I think about it.
She's drunk, so I kind of.
Oh, psycho drunk.
I have
I'm
more
not saying
sympathy
this to
than
be
anything else.
facetious, But I don't
Right.
care if you're a rose girl, a wand girl, or a monster alien tentacle girl. Stock up now for your moments of weakness, because I promise you ain't no alive worth getting stuck with a man.
6 years. 6 fucking years. It took us 6 fucking years to get our citizenship. I know people.
Well,
I know
if you're going, if you're doing the, if you're doing it legally, you're safe, lady.
Right. We worked so hard for it. She worked so hard.
Oh my
for it.
God.
I was just a kid. We came here because she wanted a better life for us. She wanted a better education for us. She wanted for us to have a better future.
Well, you're
I'm
free
done
to go.
crying. My sadness is over.
This
My
guy
anger
got
has set in.
himself on a leave of absence.
I am
likely
a
to
very
be
happy
fired
person,
soon.
and I am very proud of that. Love it about myself, actually.
Another
And
septum
so,
piercing, by the way.
I say this in the most disrespectful
Well, this is also
way
a woke
possible.
white woman.
I
It's
don't
just a woke
care
white
if you are
woman
my
with a beard.
family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go fuck yourself if you voted for Donald Trump.
So you don't really have any friends.
We control your body. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch. We control your bodies.
I'm going to get drunk today, and I'm gonna act like an angry black fucking woman, because I'm fucking angry! I'm mad! I'm upset!
I mean-
I'm angry as fuck, bro. I'm angry, I'm hurt, my feelings are fucking hurt. We always finish last, we always come fucking last
No,
for
you don't.
everybody.
I thought you built this country. I thought
Yeah.
civilization
I hope this isn't
emanated
enough to
from the
signal
strong
to all the
hands
other
of
women
proud,
that I'm not one of the
warriors
white
and black
bitches
people that
who voted
like
against their
so many
best interests.
disciplines.
This is women like accessorizing to fight the
Right.
patriarchy. We're gonna
Ah,
wear
another
blue,
woke
blue
white woman.
bracelets, guys. I know.
And
White
when
dudes for
you
Harris.
are bleeding out in an emergency room, when they take away your right to vote, all of these things that are about to happen to you,
we're not
they're
gonna
not
take
gonna
away their
ask you
right
who
to
you voted
vote.
for.
But we should talk about it.
Right.
Harris did not win.
This is the thing, like, oh man, this is we're gonna be I'm afraid to tell you guys that we're gonna be experiencing 4 years of a woman moment. That's gonna be this. We're gonna be dealing with this for 4 years. So
Uneducated
But that's okay.
electorate
We'll
is
just-
all about
no,
the
they're not
feels.
uneducated. They're educated. That's
Oh, they're
the problem.
educated, but they're
I've decided that
indoctrinated in their
cigarettes don't
education.
count today,
So
and
they're
I obviously might
myopically
go get a
educated.
tattoo. But
Yeah.
I
Might as
also
well
have
be
decided
not educated.
that for the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmecks with men. And
Good.
funny enough,
Is that
I
what
actually
it
just broke
takes?
up with my boyfriend a handful of days
probably-
before the election.
probably gave
and it had
that-
nothing to do with the anticipation of Donald Trump winning this election. It had everything to do with
Master Goa
problems
gave
within
us
our
$2.
relationship
Thank you, Master Goa.
and
Says,
massive differences
Filipino
between
white supremacists
who we
happy
were
to
as
have
people.
help. Yeah, you
Right.
I don't know what to say, right?
Oh,
but
Warlock
I
2,
can't really
Electric
say
Boogaloo.
better.
Remember
because
Trigglypuff?
It's not. It's gonna be hard.
Here's where they are now. Feel
I've
old
been
yet?
crying for 24 hours. I went to work.
Yeah, you must be
and was
dehydrated.
Working while this tears coming
Yeah.
down. I ruined my contact.
I always knew that America hated women.
Yeah, sure.
I knew America hated women, that we weren't
glad-
seen, we weren't heard, we weren't
Yep.
valued. I knew American women hated women.
Well,
I just did not
I guess
know
go
how much we were
drive
truly
into a
hated
ditch.
until this morning.
So you know how girls and young women are just being abused and harassed by men and boys with the "your body, my choice" comment that went viral yesterday?
No, but I do
after Trump
recall
was
4
elected?
years ago, 5
Yeah,
years ago,
that
being
comes
told that
from,
I had to get,
Nick Fuentes,
injected with
that's
an
his name, right?
experimental
That,
bioweapon.
Ultra-right
Against my
KKK podcaster who loves Donald Trump and has
I like how they take this
millions
guy seriously.
of young men and
Is he a
older
gay
men
fan?
following
But
him.
okay, ladies, whatever it takes, dear American
Right.
sisters, you are not alone. I want to know, like, there's a country. These are the women of the Belgian Greens, whoever
Right.
the hell those are. So these are
See,
women
how I use an
in
ad blocker.
positions of political. They're like in members of European Parliament and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, this is American sisters, you're not alone. The Norwegian Parliament stands with you. Dear American sisters, you are not alone. The Finnish Parliament stands with you.
Yet another wind tunnel.
The thing is too that it was a lot of women that voted for this, so it wasn't just like a man thing.
Lock him up!
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna vote for a felon, racist, misogynistic, idiot, Cheeto of a man, and
He's got a future is female
own
shirt.
that. Like, you should have to own that decision,
Or
and
sweater.
that should be public knowledge. And your future employers should know, and your future anyone you encounter should be able to look that up.
Oh wow, you sound like a fucking authoritarian who
But
thinks that people
Yeah,
should
really.
be limited in their capacity
White
to do
women,
anything.
especially at this moment, do not go to your black, your indigenous, your immigrant, your queer, your trans. Do not go to that person in your life that you feel is a little bit more
This is
oppressed than
real
you are,
brain
because
rot, by the
obviously
way.
you're feeling
This is
fucking
not
oppressed,
the skibidi
and
toilet
ask
stuff.
for like
This.
help with it.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, sisters. And I'm gonna put it to you like this. If I see you with a white
Nice
man,
shower cap.
it's up.
Yeah.
I don't care.
This
I
is
don't
like
care. I
the
don't want to hear that
fashion
spicy
now.
white shit no
Zero
more. This shit
effort.
is not a joke no more. I don't care what the fuck Shira 7 said. Oh my God. You know what? Give it a man your race. Give it an old white man. Bitch, I wish you would. Go ahead and do it. Do it. I want to see. Bitch, you gonna get that treatment, bitch. I'm gonna give you that look. Just how I get a black man with a white girl in his arm, bitch. You.
Hope your day gets better.
Yeah, this guy.
Positive energy.
I'm gonna seduce your husband. I'm gonna seduce your husband.
Look at these
I'm going to look him
boasts.
in the eye, and I'm gonna explain to him that
Guard your men,
nobody
ladies.
has ever made me feel the way he has. And
Right.
I'm younger than the conservative woman that married him.
is coming for your,
And I'm gonna
your
start
man.
like
Her
explaining
and her
that
big nose
I'm just so
and no
fun.
titties.
I like doing fun shit because you're
Yeah,
probably
she's
married and you
probably
can't
a
do fun
lesbian.
shit.
This is like lesbians want dick, by the way.
Yeah.
my god!
That's kind of
There's so
been
many
like the
easiest
thing
ways
that
to leave the
my
country as an
takeaway is
American. Sorry, guys, I
the
simply cannot
expose
smile
on
at
how
the
many
moment.
women
It's
just
been
want to be
a
like
long
pinned
24
down and
Let's
choked.
be honest,
and,
it
like,
was a
all the kind of,
terrible
like,
night
weird
last night.
kind
It
of,
was a
like,
terrible
submission.
night
Jimmy
for
Kimmel.
women, for children,
Yeah,
for the
another woke
hundreds
white
of
woman.
thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. For NATO, for the truth.
Imagine simping for NATO. And
Right?
crying tears for NATO. Fuck NATO. What?
And democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
We're scared for our lives. We're scared for our friends. Like, you have pro-life women dying because their doctors are scared to treat them because of the repercussions of his last presidency.
You don't have friends. You just have people who don't
How
measure
did
up.
we get here?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Bitch, it's not about a fucking book. Fuck that shit right now. Knowing that I went to bed. Yeah.
Cried changing her diapers. This morning we cried together. She thinks her baby knows what's going on.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
That's certainly not
you know,
projection.
No.
Women are really good at celibacy because you guys are actually a threat to us. So we have a lot less to gain from you. So.
All right. So do you guys know what 4B is? Do you know what 4B is? We can talk about it a little bit. Do you know what this is?
I know it's like the whole movement to like, to 4 years of like, being, I guess celibate or whatever. I couldn't say exactly what the 4B stands for, but
it's from South Korea. And the South Korean women are, there's a movement. Let me just read it out for you. I was going to get Vivian to tell us, but I think that you won't be able to hear it, so I'm just going to read it out. So 4B movement, or 4 No's, is a gender-critical radical feminist movement first emerged during the South Korean gender wars. I didn't know there were gender wars. How many fatalities were there? How many deaths?
Right.
Is there like a mass grave someplace where all of the women died? Or...
I'm a veteran of the gender wars.
This is Wikipedia, so they got like bias. But anyway, during the South Korean gender wars in the mid to late 2010s on the misandric website WOMAD and various related subcultures on Twitter, the proponents, it's the 4 No's. So there's 4 things they're not going to do, okay? The proponents refuse to date, that's 1, get married, have sex, or have children with cisgender men or transgender women. So, it's a transphobic group, I guess, as well.
Right.
The movement upholds gender essentialism and is opposed to transgender rights movements. This is the funny thing about Wikipedia. That's the takeaway. It's not we hate men and we want to basically tank the reproduction and essentially the population of an entire country. No, that's not really the focus. That's not really the problem. The problem is the transphobia. Like this is Wikipedia in the current year. God damn it.
Right.
But anyway, seeing that they see this as linked to the oppression and domination of women by patriarchal society, interest in the 4B movement increased internationally after the re-election of Donald Trump in the 2024 United States presidential election. The 4 No's are no sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, and no marriage with men. And they're trying to bring the 4B movement here to the States, which is what this TikToker is doing.
So it's gender communism. So instead of the 4 olds, it's the 4 No's.
Yes, it's the 4 No's. But the thing is, I don't really go ahead, ladies. This is the thing that these women don't get is that they think that this is a flex, but honestly, they're just showing us who the women are who are unfit to be mothers, and they're already doing the work for most of the men. So it's like, okay, because people who are actually want families, like the women who did vote for Trump, which are probably women who have families that actually care about their children's future. Those people, they're going to make babies. And that really is how you're going to win. If you're reproducing, you've already won. You just have to raise a decent, well-balanced human being, and you're good to go. So yes, my prayers go out to you. Thoughts and prayers to the 4B movement of America. But you've already essentially sealed your doom because you can't exist without men.
Right.
So,
well, that's like the ironies
the whole time too.
It's like one of the big ironies of this whole thing, though, too, is I was joking about it the other night when we were doing election coverage on Reality Based, that, when you seek to sterilize your electorate, through various means and also inject them with a now known bioweapon that had a, high kill rate, and then you end up, wondering why it is that you're losing an election. It might be because you kind of FAFO'd, and it actually kind of explains why they have to try to draw in their ranks from outside the country, because they spent the last 4 years getting injected with some bullshit every 3 to 4 months, and that was highly toxic, and it's ultimately been proven to be exactly what people were calling it, a bioweapon. Not a vaccine. It's not anything like that. It's totally a bioweapon. It's made by, the National Health Institute or the National Institute of Health, rather, and, and DARPA, and a whole bunch of other kind of 3-letter agencies were involved. And it's production and then ultimate disbursement through, covert means and, just kind of trying to lie to a populace and telling them they had to go along with it. And the people who went along with that are still the people who are like, I can't wait to get my next booster, And so it's like you're fighting for a world that you don't even want to be a part of because you actively do everything you can to make sure that you're part of the soft kill genocide, not reproducing, not doing any of this kind of stuff. And it's like you have a death wish ideology. So what do you think's going to happen? It's just, like reality is catching up with your misguided views. And if you don't understand that, then I guess go get another vaccine. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah, 4B all the way.
You motherfuckers were so threatened by a woman being in charge. It's not even about color. It's about a woman being in charge. A woman making things better.
Make it sandwich.
Y'all are so threatened by a woman.
I suggest we all shave our fucking heads.
Please.
Women with shaved heads. You know what side they're on.
Yeah, make it easier to kind of avoid.
What you do, you will never put up my love. You will never make me give up hope. No matter what you say, no matter what
This
you
is the
do.
sad thing I want to say about this right now is I don't know how many of these women are just participating in this thing. It's like a group therapy session.
My husband said
They don't
it's
not
not
even know what it is they're agreeing with. They're just going with the crowd.
Yeah. It's another, masturbation hypnosis.
This woman's going to leave. She's going to get a vasectomy.
We need to do
change her
financial
name.
planning. This stands for
Get out of the country.
financial independence, early retirement, prep, runaway fund, donations to worthwhile causes, physical fitness.
Do it. Do it.
Is there a
Sell
particular
your shit and
bracelet?
leave.
Did we just make it
If you're
ourselves?
committed.
I'm not the kind of bracelet now.
Let me know.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Send me a link.
Do I need to make it for myself? Is there a website to go
All I
to?
have to say is good luck getting laid.
Like I like that they're like let's all wear bracelets and make our voices heard. Let's wear our ketchup bottle costumes. It's
Right.
like, do you really like? I feel like you don't actually believe that we live in the society that you claim we do because you're trying to make accessorize and make fashion choices based on what this terrible thing that's supposedly happening
Right.
instead of actually just leaving the country. Why are you doing I don't think you buy into your own bullshit.
No,
I can hardly hear you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think
the
that
video's too loud. I'll lower it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that
Okay, go ahead.
they want to quote unquote mimic the the star that people had to wear during the supposed Holocaust victims and all this kind of stuff. But
There was
the
I don't know if
difference
it's in
is
this-
that wasn't self-elected. Like if you do
Yeah.
this kind of shit, this
No,
is
they're
just a
doing it to
fashion movement.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is too is that somebody on here, I don't know if it was this video or another one I watched, but there was a lady on here suggesting that they all get a tattoo and it's the same kind of tattoo and they get it in the same spot so they can identify each other. And the purpose is so that they can identify the women who voted for Trump as the ones who don't have the tattoo. So
Right.
they're doing that. They're literally this is what they're doing. And I think it's based on, well, you know what? I'll get to it after. Let's watch the rest of this video because I do have some other
They're
thoughts.
making themselves into handmaidens.
Sort of. Because me and my girlies are participating.
Feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again. Glass ceiling? Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control.
Higher personality. Rock is a fucking cult. He's a fucking cult, and you're all
Yeah,
cult
yeah.
followers.
Yeah, it's a cult. Half the country is in a cult.
Oh no, not half. The majority of the country.
Oh yeah, the majority of the country is in a cult. That's what it is.
Well, that didn't go the way we
I mean, we're in a cult, sure.
at all or expected. Yeah, I mean, for him to win the popular vote? Are you kidding me?
No.
That's a good
At
question.
Papa John's, the shakaroni is
sorry
back.
about this. Yeah, dumb ads, but can't be helped.
It is what it is. That's all right.
All right, so this these are some posts. This is on Reddit. Reddit is a sick place. I've never been there. I don't recommend it. That's all I'm gonna say. But
yeah, third hand, it's even kind of oof.
Yeah, if he wins, I'm buying a gun, and I suggest you do too. I can't afford a gun and have been far too suicidal for it to be safe for me to own one. No, if I have a gun, I'm gonna blow my brains out. You gun people need to understand this.
Right. And is there a gun store I can go to that isn't so MAGA?
So
I
like,
read that one. That was.
I mean,
that was
on the one
hilarious.
hand, I'm like, oh, so you guys are pro Second Amendment now. But that's good. That's based. But on the other hand, if you think you're just going to be tempted to blow your own brains out, you probably need help. Like,
right.
You probably need some help, guys.
Where's the free range, ethically sourced gun store where I can, like,
the organic guns.
right.
I'm officially not trans if he wins. Possible trigger. I know it's betrayal. I'm sorry. I've considered worse things, but this is better. I'm not even trans enough to change my appearance, so I know I'm privileged, but I'm so scared. I'm so scared to even post this. I know we should be strong. I'm sorry. Girl, you're not betraying anyone. How do you know that's a girl? You didn't ask. Do what you need to do to be safe. We can get through this. Wow. I'm glad I'm normal. These people, I actually have a lot of pity for them. This is bad. Like, these people are in a really bad
My
spot.
generation, Generation X, the people who grew up on WWE and Hulk Hogan and Donald Trump did this.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And don't be.
Oh yeah, brother. We did this. Yes, Generation X.
Top of the mountain.
Normally, Gen X normally stays out of everything, but they went out and they were like, you millennials and fuck the boomers, fuck the millennials. We're pulling the lever. We're getting involved. And also the Zoomers. A lot of Zoomer men stepped the fuck up because, in fact, despite the fact that Hassan Piker is uplifted by Twitch and gets all kinds of benefits, to the point, like I said, that Twitch even did a happy birthday video. The Twitch staff did a video for Hassan Piker, right? Who's like he's a fucking dumbass. Like he is not an intelligent guy at all.
He's a cultural cuck.
But he does as he's told. He's a propagandist. And so they're trying to make him into the person, the face of Twitch. I have a video of Asmongold, a short one, where Asmongold says he's not going to do Twitch anymore because it's too biased against, well, in favor of communists like Hassan and like Hassan's friends. That's why Hassan gets to hang out with all these like really popular cosplayers and shit, because they all work together. It's all a scam, guys. Like, most of the people who are online, you know, like that are basically like on the left, like the bread tubers and all that, they're all like AstroTurf. They're all paid for by large corporations and globalist governments and shit.
They're
to promote
they
their
have
ideology.
agencies behind them, even.
Yeah,
you know,
massive.
They're employees
They're massive.
to.
Yeah, like fucking Hassan's a millionaire before he started streaming, and that's and Twitch streaming is the only thing he can do now. So yes, Gen X, like the Zoomers, they're not watching Hassan. They're not watching Destiny. They're watching like like guys like Andrew Tate. Sorry, it's the truth. And you know what? They pulled the lever for Trump, and I'm glad for that. So you know that's just the way it is. But anyway, let's listen to the rest. Yes, Gen X, step the fuck up. Master Goa gives us $2 and says, "This is why women should never be in charge." Well, they gotta demonstrate that they deserve it. Like if it was somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, I like Tulsi Gabbard. So I think that would be okay. But the fact is that most of these, no, I mean, I'm not even sure that they should have children because they are acting like children.
Yeah,
So-
no, and that's kind of been like to me, like one of the takeaways that I've really appreciated is the whole idea of women who are too irresponsible to actually like give a shit about like maintaining their own sexual responsibility. Their response to it is like, well, we're not going to fuck you. It's like, well, that was what we wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, like take some responsibility, be accountable, and like if you're just going to say that you're going to be, chased, rather than go and like, assume that the taxpayer should have to like scrape your vagina every few months.
Yeah.
You know, what's the
Yeah.
downside here?
Oh, I mean, like, it's all ultimately. Well, let's finish the video.
Yeah.
They did this. They are the ones who looked
Yes,
in
we
the
did.
face of somebody who said, I want to be a dictator on day one. We did this.
I cannot live in a country that voted
I did
for
do
Trump.
this.
I cannot spend another 4 years under that man.
Please leave.
And so we have made
Sir?
the decision
Sir, you're not
that
fooling
we
anyone.
are leaving.
When Steve from Blue's Clues is just
You know, if that person goes to Canada, they can put people in jail for misgendering them. So I think that you'll probably find that Canada is more, you know, let's say
Conducive to your
compatible. It's more compatible to your
ideology.
lifestyle. Yeah, you should go to Canada. You should go to Canada. Just they're making it really easy to become a citizen there. So you could just go in there and hell, maybe you can become prime minister. They're looking to somebody that's more progressive than Trudeau.
disappointed in you, you fucked up.
I have decided that my personal revenge for this 2024 election fiasco is to be a menace to men on dating apps.
Weaponize the coochie.
Download probably,
Right.
I guess, just Tinder and Hinge.
Ma'am, there's a problem with your master plan here. If you're using pictures of yourself, if she's using pictures of herself, it's not really going to have the effect that she thinks it's going to have.
I don't know who you're gonna. Yeah, I don't know who you're gonna
Ensnare,
get. So.
Look at the wall.
Bitch is about
Y'all
to hit the
There's like
wall.
a new like round. This latest round of the
And even for
oppression
my
Olympics
friends
is
in
gonna
the
be
green.
pretty
And eventually
amazing
my
to
friends
watch.
will make it in the blue. Unfortunately, because of the color of your skin, you gotta be 3 times as good.
Get the fuck out of my face. I am done.
Tattoos.
Honestly. It costs
Red
me
flags
$0 to cut people off. And in this economy, I'm taking all the free shit that I can get.
I'm tired. I'm numb. I'm struggling to know what happens next.
Up to you.
Wake the fuck up and go to work and get put one foot in front of the other.
I don't think most of these people work, or they have to
No.
worry about things like taxes, and so that's what I think.
Yeah.
We were just like, the economy, woman in my life. The economy, woman in my life. The economy.
Yes.
Yeah. The economy.
The economy. The borders. The wars. Women in my life.
Everyone says that election day should be a national
What
holiday.
women in my life?
I agree. I think the day after should also be a national holiday because, like, what do you mean?
What is
You
wrong
know
with
what
these
I'm gonna
women?
do when Kamala Harris wins?
What?
I'm gonna get pregnant and then have like 50 abortions.
Oh my god. But I want babies.
But abortion.
Women's
Yeah.
rights also includes things like access to contraceptives. There are men
Outing
and women
themselves
who
all over the
believe
place.
women shouldn't have access to Plan B, shouldn't have access to birth control. These are all the rights of women. Sometimes they appear in history, sometimes not. With J.D. Vance in office, the right to vote for a single woman could become a topic of conversation.
I just
Oh,
dropped
good
my son
God.
off at school, and there were dozens of parents, unlike ever before, walking their kids all the way to the gate. There was at least a half a dozen parents holding their child and crying with them. Crying with them.
They're abusing their kids.
I'm
The
so
children
Poor
don't
woke
know.
white woman.
your cheap ass groceries and your cheap ass fucking gas because you're fucking broke as shit. You're fucking broke. You're fucking broke.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called inflation.
Joe
And if
Well,
you
you
weren't
know,
living with your
women,
parents,
women
you
like
probably would be
women.
too.
Yeah, women who don't have to worry about how much shit costs. Those are the ones that have the luxury of doing that. You might say it's privilege.
Is the current
Right.
sitting president of this country. At any moment, he can evoke the 25th Amendment, which is constitutional, which would allow him to step down, and Kamala Harris steps up, and she would be the current president. And she could detest the fraudulent activity that's been going on with the elect. Elon Musk trying to give people $1 million to come and vote for Trump, that's not legal.
That's not okay.
That's not what he did.
This is not okay. This simply will not do.
Better
And this
than
is
okay.
not okay, and I'm not good with this.
I sometimes I wonder if some of these are
Oh no!
fake.
He's not good with us, Brian. I think we're
Well,
gonna
we
have to
gotta
rethink
stop
that.
it. You know
Yep.
what this
That
is?
should not be there. And they're
You know what this is?
wrong,
This
and
is
you're wrong, and
this is
everything
kids
is
throwing
wrong.
tantrums in like
And
the
it's
department
not even
store
my house.
because
You
you're
just
not buying
buy
the
it from
toy
me
they
and I
want.
don't want it.
That's what it is.
I took the morning to grieve. That's all the time we have. Now is your time to start making a plan. Women, I'm here to talk to you today. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to delete your period tracking app. I don't care what state you're in. Go into your history.
Oh, this is gonna get really
take out a paper
conspiratorial.
planner. Write down
Mhm.
your history so that you have it, because I know that you track it. You use it to track ovulation and all of that stuff. You can't do that in an app anymore. Before you delete the app, you're going to delete your data out of the app. That's not a sure way to make sure that they can't use it against you later.
they're
but
gonna track.
And finally,
Elon Musk is tracking your ovulation, ladies.
That's right. And if you don't bleed for 2 months
That
in a
lady
row,
is
we're gonna come to your
pink-pilled.
house and yeah. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the,
That's
it's on
why.
the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on the
Misogyny,
doorstep.
guys. It's the
They were
simple
begging
answer.
people to care about it for years. We
Misogyny
need
and
to take some
sexism.
lessons.
That's what that was.
The lessons are not
Knock,
misogyny.
knock. Who's there? Oh my
Dude,
gosh, it's
yeah.
Whoopi.
The
feel
the
when
predator.
you control your body.
Oh yes, Mexicans. Thanks, guys. Cubans, thank you. Dominicans, all of
Right.
them. Puerto Ricans, we all came out for Trump. Puerto Ricans,
You all
men.
became
The
white
men.
supremacists today,
men, yes.
or this week, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Welcome to the privileged society of He-Man woman haters.
And these women
like,
just can't understand it. And I'm going to explain why this is so earth-shattering for them a little bit later. It has to do with the way the left operates, the framework that they operate in. This is why this is earth-shattering for them. They don't know what to do with it. But I will get back to that.
Hey, bitch, we control your bodies.
This guy's just trolling them, and they're falling for it.
fucking
but-
rapist.
No.
You picked a rapist.
No.
Woke up this morning so disappointed in America, and I just want to say, if you contributed to putting a xenophobic, homophobic, misogynistic, racist, transphobic, convicted felon in office, I mean this in the most hateful,
Pretty sure Hillary
disrespectful
Clinton
way
wasn't on the
possible.
ballot. I voted for
hope
Trump,
the next
though.
4 years of your life
Right. I don't know
are the
who you're
worst 4
talking
years
about.
that you've ever had.
If you thought I hated white men before, you don't even know what's coming for them crap.
I'm not going to class today because I know who I am.
I'm pretty sure
Trust me,
college
I know who I
professors
am.
gave you the day off to
I literally
recuperate.
know who I am. If I go to class today, I will yell at someone. I will get in a fight because I know who I am. You saw me in that Jubilee video. I know who I am. If I go to class today, I will get in a fight. So I'm staying in my room.
I'm looking for a fight. Shit.
Wait. This is my favorite. This is my favorite reaction. It's so good. Let's look at
Right.
this woman, this news anchor. Just this is it.
Professional,
This is the
gets
left
paid
right now.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Super
Yeah.
rich. Like, watch this. Just done. I love it.
Right.
Just no words necessary. Just done.
I have this feeling that we're not done, that there's more to be said about this. And isn't it American of us to question and be curious and validate?
Oh, I thought
Before
4 years
we
ago,
began.
like only like
I'm not giving up just yet.
I'm fucking.
evil people
yeah,
who
people-
were trying to
people
destroy
are-
democracy would ask questions.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. No. The people are already saying that he cheated. They just don't know how.
Right.
They're
considering
like-
considering there's 17 million
He did
less votes than
something.
last time.
Right.
Somehow,
Even though they were coming close to figuring out that what happened in 2020.
yeah,
They're
I love
close to
love
it,
how many
but-
people like saw that and they're like, "What happened to all the votes from last time?" It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
what happened to
what
all
happened
the votes?
indeed?
Yeah.
What indeed happened here? Let's think about this just for a moment,
Yep.
because clearly, yeah, it's
All right, let's listen to this.
So I'm not giving up just yet.
I'm fucking feral today. Feral! If you see me keep walking,
Septum piercing, by the way.
do not make eye contact.
That's the symbol. They
Do
don't need
not
to get a
square
blue
up at
bracelet
me.
or tattoo.
Yeah, they already have it.
They
It's
shave
like-
their heads.
Like,
They
I
already
wanna
have it.
eat, like maybe they voted for Kamala, but like I want to eat them right now. Like I want to take a bite out of those glutes in a
bad way.
Bad way.
I can't tell if that's like sexual or rage, but I would definitely avoid this woman.
Yeah, it's probably a little of both, you know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted enough to never order a Tesla as long as I shall live.
Can you imagine having like this? This is another amazing thing. How much does a Tesla cost, guys?
Over $100,000.
How could you sit there and be like, well, I'm not gonna buy another Tesla again? Like you already have one. You have the money to buy a Tesla, and you're complaining. Like in this economy, no less. It's amazing that these people are this out of touch with reality.
I want to take
that, Elon Musk.
This moment to congratulate those of you who voted for Donald Trump, which was the overwhelming majority of Americans.
That's right.
You chose to vote for a dictatorship.
My immigrant mother just called me on the phone innocently asking me if she should start carrying her passport in case they start doing mass deportations.
Is she illegal?
To prove that she's a citizen.
My God.
Well, if she's a citizen, then you know.
Yeah, there's
that
nothing
would
to
be-
worry about. This is so dumb. Like, but again, this is what women do. Like these women, that's what they do. They're educated, which means they are indoctrinated. That means that they are propagandized to believe all this insane shit, and they think that it's completely rational. And on top of that, they're extremely arrogant, and that's what shocks them. But let's play the rest. This is almost over.
The civility.
So this says, Alistair Campbell tweeted a reply to Elon Musk, who said, Pennsylvania is on track for a major Republican victory. The gap between 2024 and 2020 is now over 600,000, which almost 10% of the entire electorate. By the way, Pennsylvania, the Amish did that because there were going to be laws on the books that were going to restrict the Amish's ability to essentially, like, you know,
grow their own food.
tend to their own food and their own milk and their own you know, crops and all that, especially the milk.
Like the whole idea of like them coming down on raw milk and organic gardens and this and that. Like, you know, like, and that's the funny thing is like these silly leftists, you know, they'll go to Whole Foods and they'll act like, you know, they're somehow above it all with their macrobiotic diets and this and that. And here's the funny thing, like this is I actually share this common ground. I don't like having pesticides in the food, but you know what? Neither does RFK. You know,
no, that's the thing. That's not a Democrat position,
right?
That's not even a liberal position. Like
No.
I live in pretty fucking libertarian Virginia, and the people here all care about the environment. So like the left doesn't have a claim on that. They don't have a claim on that. Their only claim is that the government has to be the solution and that we have to pour billions of dollars into it and like do all this other regulatory shit. That's not the only answer. That's their answer, because their answer to everything is the state.
But the
that's
irony
their answer
is
to everything.
Right, but the irony is they virtue signal for that, but yet ultimately they want to have a draconian authoritarian government who's going to sit here and tell you what you can and can't do with your own heirloom seeds.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So anyway, so then this guy replies to Elon and says, no, it's not. Elon Musk getting more and more desperate as reality bites. Trump is losing and he knows it, which is why the ex-shills and charlatans have been told to fake the vibe to stop the steal. So Stop the Steal gets activated even earlier than the last time he lost, which we didn't even have to activate because Trump did, in fact, overwhelmingly win.
Right.
Wreck shit. Okay.
Hey Kamala, what are we gonna say to Donald Trump in November?
Bye, bye, bye.
That didn't pan out. So
no.
And then that's when that crazy woman started screaming, remember, with the glasses?
A throwback.
Of America, Donald. I wonder whatever happened to her. She's probably... I just wonder where she is right now.
Gracious aid.
I am so sorry. To my world, I am.
Oh God.
So that's the video. I think that summarizes it. Again, shout out to iHypocrite. Check out his channel. It's great, especially the one on Rumble. It's a lot more let's say,
spicy.
Yeah, it's definitely spicier, but it's a great video. Check out his video. So what else has happened? I'm gonna let's look up some other things. Maybe John De La Rose's Fandom Pulse has some, and he's another guy I'm gonna try and get on the show sometime.
Yeah,
he has like a Substack, and do you know who he is?
Yeah, we were on a countercast together like a couple months ago. So I actually, yeah, he's one of my contacts in X.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've been on a couple. I've been on his show a couple times. I've had him on ours. There was a thing going on a while back called the Sad Puppies, and it was basically a bunch of these like fiction writers that were being like snubbed by the greater sort of literary writing community, establishment, whatever.
Yep.
It was because they had the wrong views, and John De La Rose was one of those people because John De La Rose is a devout Catholic, and they hate that about him. So yeah, there you go. So, but okay, so we got let's go to where is the thing I was looking at? So yeah, Hollywood's lost their mind. For example, let me just share this screen because there's a lot going on here, and we're gonna put it up on the screen here. So this is Fandom Pulse. This is John De La Rose's website. Director of cinematography at Lucasfilm, Joel Aaron, attacks Donald Trump and his supporters. I wonder what he said. Let's find out. I am already following him, so Joel Aaron, fuck this disgusting scrotum skin sack and all who support him. Trump says, I have a piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is fake news, and to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much. I don't mind that. That's pretty funny. And of course, he was pretty sure. Again, this is like the general sentiment from these people. They don't know what to do with this. The fact that the majority of Americans voted for this, and they're losing their minds over it. So here's David Mack, Star Trek writer, accuses the left of racism and misogyny in USA election. David Mack has always pushed politics above Star Trek when writing his science fiction novels, but now he's admitting the left is filled with like commies that hate people. They're just full of hate, Let's see, the most entertaining meltdowns of science fiction publishing, from John Scalzi to Patrick S. Tomlinson. So these Chuck Wendig, let people have their hopelessness to get today. Let them have their doom. Do not scold. Give them no stirring platitudes nor poetry of resistance. Just let people sit and ruminate however they must on the hard road ahead. John Scalzi, some jerks on the bad site suggesting the election is going to stall me into a 4-year writer's block. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I published 8 books the last time this fascist shit weasel was in office, and wrote for a TV series, so you best believe I've got fucking plans for this round, son. Well, I mean, get creative, but I don't think anyone's going to want to watch your shit since the majority of the country voted for the shit stain that you hate so much. Right. Mary Robinette Cole says, I would like to leave the planet. Alas, I cannot. However, I am attending space camp in January. It's just like they're just losers. We're just talking about losers, guys. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I wanted to, there was another, let me see, these are kind of old, maybe it's in the comic section here. Yeah, Mark Waid, this is a good one. I really want to point this one out. So Mark Waid is a DC Comics writer now. I think he wrote for Marvel too at one point. And he's basically saying he does not believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans and therefore cannot write superheroes. So because people voted for a guy you don't agree with, which basically I don't think you've looked into at all, you're just listening to whatever the fucking TV told you, you have decided that Americans do not embody goodness, and therefore you can't write comic books anymore. Right. Mark Waid has a history of mental instability and anger issues. So so he's walking away. This is the projection. And like a falling star rocketing across the sky, another former comic superstar whose heat is fading chooses to cry for attention by blaming the industry, his peers, and the audience rather than taking stock of his own professional progress admitting that we are often the authors of our own fate and finding the courage to reinvent himself and stay relevant. This is like what he said to Mark Miller, was a guy who left comics because it was going woke and he didn't like it.
Right.
But this guy, obviously, because he always projects, he's doing the opposite. He's doing it himself. You know, I think a lot of us would rather just see the industry burn down than get together with the alt-right. I know I would. Sorry. These are things that he's written. All right. Even if by some miracle this turns around, I don't believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. And without this, I cannot write superheroes. There's no point. When you see a decline in the quality of my work soon, you'll be able to trace it back to this night. Planning on going dark on all social media and news feeds for a while, starting tomorrow. See you down the road, I hope. So what do you think about Mark Waid's comments? Again, he wrote superhero comics and he can't do it. He's been demoralized.
Oh, so sad. What a tragedy. Where will we find another person who can draw and write comic books?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think there are people all over that are doing it right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it seems that way. So let me see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here. We know that Sweet Baby Inc. Might be getting new employees, right?
Yeah, they have seduced the Dark One. I guess they need to have like a new cringe magnet.
The bubble is shrinking.
Yeah, well, they got rid of Chris Kindred, so they need to have someone who can, like, you know, kind of be their flame baiter, you know, to keep Kim from
yeah, there you go,
being exposed. That's my take on it. It's like, oh, we need another unhinged crazy woman. It's like, well, okay, who's the craziest person we can find? They're like, who's that bitch from Kotaku? You know, yeah, there we go. You know,
yep.
I could be wrong in my claims, but in my head canon,
it could be.
And, yeah,
right. Yep. So Alyssa Mercante no longer working at Kotaku, and she wrote
laid off or fired. Which
well,
laid
a
off
lot of people.
Fired,
I hear a lot of people at Kotaku got fired.
Yeah,
like they laid off a bunch of people, and especially after the election. So
weren't we saying earlier this year that 2025 at the latest? And it seems like they're not even. They might barely limp into 2025, but I can't see them going past this next tax season. I think that they're going to get shut down by their corporate masters.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Yep. So this I mean, this is it.
A long time coming.
Let's go to what's going on with Mark Hamill, who has been a vocal proponent for Harris and very much against Trump. Star Wars actor Mark Hamill reacts to Donald Trump's win. This is not the America we all thought we were living in. And literally, the thing that's really funny about this is that just to go to, because I still love Star Wars, despite this guy being an absolute like lip shit, especially the original trilogy. The thing that's funny is that this whole cycle from Trump winning in 2016 to now is the trilogy embodied. It is the hero's journey.
Yeah.
So you had the first presidency is A New Hope because people wanted something different. And I think that there are ways to draw lines that go back to Occupy Wall Street that led us to the Trump victory in 2016, because there's a lot of parallels there. Even though the left ruined Occupy Wall Street, like they basically went in and they started making it all about themselves, and they took the focus on what was important, and they completely distracted. Then they were doing like rain dance rights, and they were doing like safe spaces and rape-free zones and all this bullshit. And all of a sudden, we weren't talking about the Wall Street bankers anymore, which is what we should have been talking about. And there's a great comedian turned commentator named Dave Smith who also identified that. He's like, this is the moment when identity politics, got cranked up, is basically Occupy Wall Street. And ever since then, we like the people at the very top have been like using that as their linchpin to keep us distracted or separated, right? And so like Trump got in 2016 because some people, or at least enough people, were able to see past the bullshit and see that, he's always been critical of the Fed. He's always been critical of these systems, right? So And I remember him saying "end the Fed," which is like a big thing the libertarians talk about, and he was talking about that. And so I would say that the 2016 to 2020 is A New Hope, and then The Empire Strikes Back, and you get 2020 or 2021 to 2024, which is the Biden administration. This is Empire Strikes Back, and now we're getting into the Revenge of the Jedi, or the Return of the Jedi. Sorry. And so it's kind of like, or even like the Lord of the Rings movies are kind of similar, but this is a good way to look at it. And yet the guy who played Luke Skywalker doesn't see that. This is how you know these people are adult pretenders, as Nerdrotic says. They don't actually understand like the sort of narrative arcs that we live through in our day-to-day lives.
There is another parallel though too. Not that I'm a fan of Disney Star Wars by any stretch of the imagination, but Mark Hamill is. I could very much see him drinking, warm green titty milk today, and being a sad, pathetic person who got rid of his faith because a bad dream. And I mean, it's just like, all right, so yeah, I guess you suck, and thanks for not being in too many movies to complicate my viewing of them. But I've always been good about kind of separating the artist from the art for the most part.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think that the worst thing these people could do for their careers was share their opinions on social media. And I'm not saying I'm gonna I'm still gonna watch the old Star Wars movies and I'm just gonna enjoy them because I already know that most of Hollywood is woke anyway and always has been. Like ever since like the
pedophiles,
50s.
and like into like weird kind of like ritualistic demonic shit.
That's true. That is true. And so let's go to the next thing here. So I'm going to share this. Mass Effect writer flips out, says, I am trying hard to restrain the vicious need to lash out at other people following Donald Trump's presidential victory. Casey Alexander is the writer in question.
Don't you mean like the childish, myopic desire? Like, like this is all just you?
It is.
Need.
Learn
what words mean, people.
Well, they like to redefine words, So,
right, very true, very true. I guess I'm at fault for trying to have a standard definition remain a standard definition.
Yeah, for sure. So Grums, one of our friends over here for Gamergate that is basically really woken up to all of this. He shared this on Twitter, which I think is important to point out, to show off to you guys real quick. He said, I think AAA devs will try to double down and get an even stronger protest message out.
Yeah.
This will tank their games even harder, and investors will eventually punish them in the stock market until profit reigns over insanity. 2 years to stop the spread. Don't forget to identify as non-binary, B-U-Y, nary. This is true. Do you want to say anything about this before I say something?
Yeah. I mean, like the desperation, I was saying this actually the other night on Tuesday. And I think the following day I did another, we were trying to have Don't Cope and Seethe. We'll just have a conversation stream with Stupenzo. He was trying to get the people on his own Facebook timeline to chill out a little bit. And they were just coming in like shouting at us fuck you, you racist, all this kind of stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's just like trying to explain to these people that, it's like, you don't have to immediately go to that desperate place. There's nothing that is really going to befall you. But because they're so caught up in their weird, mass hypnosis and their myopic ability to shut people out and just kind of believe whatever it is that they believe is somehow, the paradigm of truth. Yeah, the desperation is going to be off the charts. You are going to see, they immediately gone to Handmaiden's Tale as the thing that is going to happen. It's just like
it never left. It really is. It's like it never left. So I think he's right about that, and I'm going to explain why. I think that this is the primary thing. What's happened this year is actually, or what's happened in this election, puts the left in a position where they're actually their strongest. See, when the left is actually losing, they feel more emboldened in their advocacy because they can use the fact that they suck as evidence of like how awful everybody else is. So their weakness is their strength, right? And when you try to make your claim from a position of power, when you're already in power, as they were in the last 4 years, essentially, even before that, because even when Trump was in office, like they had big tech on their side, they were censoring people. They were, Twitter and Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg and all that, Susan Wojcicki. They were all in the tank for the Democrats, for the left, and so they had power even then. But now they have lost, like they have lost the big tech fight in many ways with Elon buying Twitter. They have lost the popular vote. They lost the presidency. They've lost all of that, and so now they feel that the oppression that they've claimed, even though that's also not what's happening, but it gives them that boldness to keep going.
This was
because now
credibility they lacked. Now
it's the credibility. Exactly.
Yeah.
It gives them the credibility that they need to be able to essentially act however they like, which is why they're being so obnoxious at throwing tantrums. But the real irony of this too is that the left has a specific way that they operate. So I'm going to tell you one other thing that happened. There's a YouTube channel. Actually, we should look at it really quick. Let me just bring it up here. There's a YouTube channel called The David Pakman Show.
Okay.
And you know who that is? So when Gamergate was happening, okay? When Gamergate was happening, David Pakman tried to be the centrist in the room. And what he would do is he would bring on people on different sides of it. Now, the problem, this has always been the problem in my opinion with the way that all these conversations go, is that the people who get platformed on like some larger channel somewhere are usually the people who themselves have like a large following and have the most clout. And the problem with that is that sometimes those people are not really the best to represent the position. So it becomes like a thing where you get the person with the best clout, but maybe they don't have the best arguments. They're just popular for, for whatever reason. They're charismatic, they're funny, they have the, whatever it is. And so like when David Pakman was hosting these interviews, for example, he was getting on people like, Mercedes Carrera, who's like a porn star, who's basically disappeared. Like a bunch of dark shit happened with her. I don't even know the story. And then like people like that were supposedly on the side of Gamergate, but their allegiances were really questionable, like Leanna Kersner, or Liana K as she is known online. And then you get like these sort of moderates, these like sort of middle ground people that were like, well, I just want ethics and journalism. And they didn't. Well, they were the optics cucks from 2014, 2015. The people who are like, well, I just want ethics and journalism. I don't want to look bad. So I'm going to basically do my best to push back. Yeah, to be civil and to push back on like people who are extreme. And then on the other side, he would get like some of the most radical voices. And oftentimes those people would even talk to, their opponents. And so he gets to decide like what the truth is. And where he landed at the end was that, Gamergate is silly and like there's nothing happening here. And please, please disperse, nothing to see here. And that was the end of it. And I was like, well, see, this is not helping us at all. And it's weak. And I said back then, this guy is not a centrist. He is a progressive. I know he is. Like, he's a leftist. Sure enough, it's come out that he's a full-on leftist now. And what the left has been doing all the way leading up to let's say what's led up to this victory where Trump won is something that David Pakman and lefties everywhere were not prepared for. Okay. So I'm going to find the funny video that I saw. He realized that he was losing. Yes, here it is. He is losing his grip on his influence. He's losing his influence.
Right.
And I'm going to play this video here. I'm just waiting for this ad. And we're going to watch
Right.
some of it. And I'm going to show you all what I'm talking about. So let me just put this on the screen for you guys, because I think this is important, okay? And share this. Okay, here we go. This is David Pakman.
I'm going to tell you something that is terrifying me. I always try to come here and put a positive face on everything, but there is something going on that is terrifying me. When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that. And subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollimore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every
Wow, nice name drop list.
last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
So all the people he named are people who run channels, and they're all leftists, and they've all lost subscribers. All of them. They're like hemorrhaging subscribers after the election. Okay?
Yep.
What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see,
Oh,
subscribers.
granted, now David Pakman has like nothing really to worry about because he still has like 2.5 million subs.
Yeah,
more than 2.5 million. But this is freaking him out.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Well, I mean,
So-
like this is
so
one of
up,
those
up,
things where someone can't even appreciate with gratitude the thing they have. It's like,
Well, it's not enough though.
Right,
Well,
right.
Go ahead. I'll tell
Well-
you what I think it is. But
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things where there's these people that you could do like a million good things for, but if you don't do 1,000,001, that one thing that you won't do is now like the most important thing. It's just like, if you don't expect an ebb and flow, especially when you're over 2 million views, or 2 million subs, and you lose 5,000 people from that, dude, that's like what, not even 10%. That's like 2% of your supposed audience. Like, you don't think that you don't have like 2% of bot accounts or people that are just kind of just so fed up and like having their own emotional tism that they're just canceling everything. Fucking nut up, be a man. Jesus Christ.
well, here's what's happening. I think that. So, well, let me play some more of this because it's not just that he's losing subs. Okay,
up,
it's more than that.
And they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this and you see a little decline and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat. The right wants us not to exist. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media. And so when I lose 5,000 subscribers and Brian loses thousands and Ring of Fire loses thousands and everybody's losing thousands of
Majority
subscribers,
Report.
Understand that when the right loses, they get organized, they fund and they create insanely effective organizations like Turning Point USA, investing in the Daily Wire and building out this huge network of right-wing ideas and influencers. So if you're feeling burnt out, I encourage you, take a break until the inauguration. It's months, okay? Mental health break, do it.
All right, I'm going to pause it there. I think that's enough of this clip. Thank you. Shout out to David Pakman Show. Please don't ding me for copyright. But so what's going on? What do you think about this? Why do you think he's losing subs? Do you think he's right that the lefties that support him are burnt out?
Well, I think that, you know, like their inability to actually deal with adversity is, yeah, that's definitely a thing. And like the complete and utter collapse of, you know, a willingness to actually try to learn from a situation, try to like, you know, like figure out the ebbs and flows. Like, just look at all the various takeaways that we've seen, you know, in these video clips and things like that, and on the news. Like, they learn the wrong lessons all the time, and you know, like they are all about blaming audience kind of stuff. Like, these people have proven themselves to be full of bullshit, you know, for the most part. And so, like, you know, like you don't expect some level of, like, these people trusted in you to like give them a hopeful message of like actual authenticity, and all it was just virtue signaling, and effectively means that you've been, you know, taking them for a ride. And this is more of a concern about like your money and how it's affected than it is like, you know, actual state of reality. So, you know, that's those are my thoughts on it.
Here's what I think. I think you're right. I think it's they're unable to deal with the tough times. They're obviously like, you know, thin-skinned, emotionally incontinent people. This is what separates them. And I know that David Pakman has a specific framing. He's always framing shit. The left is always doing this, where he's like, the right does this. It's not the right, David Pakman. It's just everybody else. It's the non-left. There's just you guys, and then there's everybody else. Like, you know, when you say that, when you say the right, and then you name some people like the Daily Wire or whatever, the reason why he does that, guys, is so that when you respond, you have to start by saying, look, I'm not the Daily Wire. I don't like those guys, blah, 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 blah. But that's, you're accepting his framework when you do that. Just don't do it. Don't even respond. Whatever. The Daily Wire can do what they're doing. I don't care. They're helping in their own way, right? Turning Point USA, they're helping in their own way. Whatever it is, right? I'm not in here for the tribal fights because that's what they're trying to create. This is not a two-way street. I've already played the clip that I put on my channel that shows you that the left is rabid. They are, by their own words, feral. And then there's just everybody else that's trying to go about their business and like live their life and have their jobs and, you know, whatever it is, right? And these people, because they can't leave you alone because their ideology depends on essentially controlling you, right? So here's what else I think has happened. This is a little bit about the left itself, okay? I'm gonna take off my headphones so I'm not distracted by the noise.
Yeah, no worries.
So the left believes in a couple of things, and this is like how they are structured. Yeah, the left and the non-left. We are the non-left. We're not the right. That doesn't exist. Like, it's just, there's just non-leftists, and that's basically to different degrees. You know, your liberals, your moderates, your centrists, whatever, your right-wingers, your conservatives, your paleocons, your Amish, whatever it is, right? I wouldn't compare the Amish to the Mormons, right? But they probably don't like the left. So even though they're not the same in most ways. But the way the left operates, which is unique, is that they have fundamentally, they have a couple of ways in which they organize reality itself, and it's all hierarchical. They will tell you they believe in things like equality, but they don't. They believe in hierarchy, but the hierarchy has to come from the top down, and they insist that they are the best qualified people to be at the top. And so whenever you get into an argument with a leftist about an issue, they make three different kinds of appeals. They appeal to authorities, the people in charge. They appeal to consensus, a majority of people who are qualified to discuss something, and they appeal to the majority. So which is like if like a large number of people believe something, then they will say that it's true. So these are the kind of people that would have said, yes, the earth is flat, like before, you know, Galileo said that it was actually round, or whoever it was. Because most people believed the earth was flat. And so they would say, yes, this is like everybody else believes it. Why don't you? That's what makes it true. And I'll give you an example for each one. So when it comes to the belief in the authority figures, when someone is in charge, like say a leader that they like Fidel Castro or Justin Trudeau, they'll say, well, he is the guy in charge, therefore, you know, he must be correct. And it's obviously always selective. Like it depends on who it is and if they agree with them. But that's not how these people work. They're not consistent. They're not concerned with things like being hypocrites. That doesn't matter to them. It's all about like the guy who runs things says X, therefore it's true. So Barack Obama, or whatever he says, it's true because he's Barack Obama and he used to be the president. And the next thing comes is, or they'll appeal to an expert. There's another one, like Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said these things, so he's always right because he's Dr. Fauci, and they have put him in this position because he's always right. And so he can't be questioned, right? And that means that if you say, well, here's like evidence from this other person, they'll just say, well, that's not Dr. Fauci. He's the guy who's been working with this for so long. You know, or
trust the science.
Feminist Naomi Wolf is an expert because she's been doing this for so long. Whoever it is that they're appealing to. Okay, Karl Marx wrote about this. He knows what he's talking about because he's Karl Marx. You can't like, you know, whatever it is. And of course, it's not consistent, not supposed to be. When it comes to the appeal to consensus, they do the same thing, right? They look for papers. Oh, feminists have written all these papers. They all agree on, you know, the concept of rape culture. They all agree on the wage gap. They all agree on whatever. So this consensus exists. Another example of consensus is the, you know, often touted 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is real and that humans are doing it. Okay. That is a consensus argument. It's not, it doesn't mean that it's true. They're just saying, well, most of them do agree. You're not a climate scientist, are you? So how could you disagree with that? But if you look into it, you'll find that the 97% consisted of professors of all different kinds of disciplines. Like I'm talking about feminist professors and critical race theorist professors and other kinds of professors that like fucking like liberal arts professors that don't know anything about the environment, and they basically wrote, they did a thesis on it and they wrote a paper and they were included because it wasn't about that at all. And that's like another appeal they make. And the last appeal is on majority rules or like, you know, a commonly held belief, like I said. And where they get that from is like how they invoke that is literally in the Clinton election. When Hillary Clinton was up against Donald Trump and lost to Donald Trump, they made the claim that she had the popular vote, which means most people in the country wanted her for president. And it's wrong that we have electoral college, and you can find endless clips of lefties saying the electoral college is bad and it's old and it's tired and it was made by the founding fathers and all this bullshit because they ultimately just want pure democracy when it suits them. And again, this is nothing to do with hypocrisy at all. And what has happened in this last election, all of those things were completely shattered. Like it turned out that people are admitting that COVID was a mistake and Dr. Fauci was wrong. That was just completely shattered. It was the you know, all of these arguments from, you know, from experts or whatever in the media completely shattered. Why? Because people went out in droves to vote for Trump this time. And not only did he get the electoral college, but he got the majority, like the actual majority of votes, individual votes. If we don't use that system, so it's meaningless. But this was very important. And Trump himself said this. He says, if we do it this way, and a lot of people said this, they will have not a leg to stand on at all. And they don't. And now they're like, holy shit, I have nothing to appeal to because all of it is broken, or at least my perception is broken. So what they're experiencing now is cognitive dissonance, that they believe that they were morally right, that they were on the right side of history, that everything they stood for was absolutely correct, and all of that is breaking down, and people are losing their shit. And I think that they're starting to question their allegiances, and that's why they're leaving these bread tube progressive like sites, or these like they're no longer supporting. And granted, it's not happening at the scale that I'd like, but we've only just started. And I think that what is going to happen is that they're like, you know, sales numbers for we didn't get to it, but Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example, which was supposed to be like one of the big things that was, you know, because it's like a big franchise. Yeah, apparently sales for that are not doing good. Alan Wake 2, not doing good. All this woke shit is not doing good. You want to see some good shit? I just posted earlier today a demo playthrough of a game called Spirit X Strike. It was pretty fun. It's like a beat 'em up thing. Just look at it on the channel. So they have nothing left. Their credibility is completely melted away, and Trump is in office, and they can't blame like Trump supporters as a cult because it's the majority of the country that voted. They have nothing to go on. And I think that they're struggling to understand what's happened. Of course, David Pakman and these like progressive content creators, they know that on some level they have to lie and manipulate and distort words and facts and data in order to convince people. And what terrifies them is that people are finding out, or that they might be finding out the truth, and that they're no longer going to support them because people are going to seek truth. So anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think we're saying basically the same thing in different words, that their relevance has completely diminished, and it's just, you can only lie for so long before people kind of get fed up with it, and the whole thing about like cognitive dissonance.
They should be angry about that. I was pissed off when I figured out I was being lied to for a long time. I don't know why people don't get angry at the people who lied to them.
Yeah, and this is kind of like my complaint about like, these my civility, my moral superiority, these fence sitters that, like if they sat on the fence any harder, they would walk around like they're popsicles because they just have a post sticking out their ass.
Yeah.
And they're more concerned.
That's because they think the people they're talking to are speaking the same language as them.
Right.
Which is a language of civility, and what they're doing is, it's like I always relate the left's behavior to Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but that character, the woman who wears all pink and she's all feminine and nice and shit, but she's like super evil. Like that's them. Like they're like the velvet glove that strangles you, and they have to recognize that because they can't, because we don't make that plain. We see when people think of fascism, they think of like the iron boot and like the strong man and all that, but that's not what's happening. It's a feminine thing that we're going through right now. It's feminine authoritarianism. I mean, men are doing it too, but it's still feminine, So,
well, this is why I say woke white women come in all shapes, genders, colors, and creeds, is because it really is this, male feminists are the worst, and male feminists are woke white women, and that's really kind of why I constantly, those are like my points that I've kind of like, trying to get out there and to just kind of get under people's skin is, when you lack the ability to even kind of appreciate the experience you're going through and look for these, appeals to higher level systems, it's the exact same thing we've been talking about is, it's not so much, that, because I was even saying this last night, somebody was trying to talk about this in partisan terms, and it's like, that's a flawed way to look at this, because if you start doing it in a partisan kind of mindset, you open yourself up for the same kind of subterfuge that's taking place here. This is just simply a matter of people that are against, the NGO, globalist, corporatism that has been kind of undermining us far and wide for quite some time. And, I guess, the leftists of today are very in the tank for that. But then there's just the rest of us. I don't really see myself as having any necessarily any kind of allegiance to any partisan kind of mindset. Like if I'm being taken for a ride right now, do you people be the first to hear it from me, but when I actually look at what's happening right now in this moment, this really just seems more like, a return to some level of common sense and decency, and people that want to actually have a direct connection with authentic people that you can trust. And that's why, when they get their whole fucking Diddy brigade to sit there and endorse Kamala Harris and just kind of be more machine than man, that's why it fails, And nobody is going to go along with this thing that is just in support of, raging for the machine and just doing all that it can to say, oh, well, I have this to lean to. I have this to lean to. It's like, I don't need to lean on anything. I stand on the firm ground of the truth, and I don't need to look for anything to prop me up. because I'll just do it myself. Even if, like, you know, I get shook, I'll find my footing, and I'll just keep on, you know, doing what I need to do. And, you know, like, that is the strength of the American spirit. So that's what we're seeing, is that, you know, this is Americans, you know, like full blown, like what is MAGA these days? MAGA is just people that want to be proud to be Americans. Like, they want to actually just, you know, live in a country that
Gen X,
is
man.
theirs. Yeah.
You're it's like the Gen X vibe. I swear to God. That's what that's what I'm feeling. I feel like it's 1984, not the book. The year.
Right.
A little bit of the book. A little bit of the book. But yeah. It could be, it's gonna be one or the other, but I think this is like, I think that Joy Reid was right. I think Gen X is like, they rose up. But and also the Zoomers. I'm very impressed with you, Zoomers. Very impressed. So I got a super chat from Dean Domino, and then we're gonna have some cake. Because I think it's deserved. Although today was a good day, to quote Ice Cube. But yeah, we'll definitely look at this in just a moment. So Dean Domino gave us $4.99 and says, speaking of good games, show a American story. Be the American the Chinese think you are, based on 1980s Japanese pop culture and stereotypes, for $4.99. Thank you, Dean. I did watch that trailer. I saw it like a while back, and then I saw it again this morning, which is weird. It was a longer one, but yeah, so that's a weird fucking game. But I'm interested. It's a Chinese game, but it's got Japanese imagery and content in it, and it's fucking out there, and it takes place in America. It's like, be the American that the Chinese think the Japanese think you are. That's kind of what it is.
Right.
But yeah, it looks good. Well, maybe we'll look at a trailer for that if there's time, like a short one. I'll plug it into the old What's It machine in a moment. But thank you for the super chow, or the super chat rather. Let me see if there's anything else before we do this. Okay, let's look at sales numbers. I always like to start this on the Concord page. I know it's 0. I know, but I'm petty. What are you gonna do? Yeah. We're just gonna leave it up there. We know it's dead. But it's good to remember. So dead as a dog. Dead.
In memorandum.
Dead.
You know? Yeah.
Yep. So what's next? Let's see. We got Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So 58,448. It's not doing so good. It did have a high peak, but it looks like people are, because from this is what I heard about
that
this game.
peak is from last Saturday. And it has not reached. It has not reached that again.
Yeah, it's a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I heard, the game is front loaded. So like most of the impressive stuff is in the beginning of the game, and then it just kind of like that's the worst, you know, because they make it to where you can't return it if you've played it for a certain amount of hours, and so the game is front loaded with content. And then it slows down and gets really repetitive later. This is like the people who were trying to be charitable in their review. They're like, well, I don't want to get involved with the politics of the game. I'm just going to talk about it from a purely mechanical perspective. It's like, yeah, but the politics is what ruined the game. You won't admit it. You won't admit it because you don't want to have to like figure out like, do I agree with this or not? Because you're a coward. But that's what happened. Like the politics affected the game because the people behind this felt that it was more important that they include a whole fucking dinner scene where you come out to your fucking parents as non-binary than actually building a game that was actually taking place in the world and had good gameplay. That is why. It
legitimately just sits down. I'm non-binary, and then like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, God, that scene is so trash.
Master Goa gives us $10. Thank you, Master Goa. I really appreciate it. He says, I think it's feminist versus everyone. Yeah. Well, yeah, but a lot of women are pretty feminist, even if they don't identify as feminists. I can claim that. But anyway, Ketanji Brown, that's Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court, set the standard you need to be a biologist to know what a woman is. We don't know that the Don beat a woman. Kamala isn't a biologist, and neither are we. That's true. So when people claim that he beat 2 women in his various presidential runs, they have to identify, like, is Hillary Clinton a woman? Is Kamala Harris a woman? I don't know. We'll have to
Are
ask
they just
biologists.
social constructs that
Thank you.
identify as such? Who knows?
That's right. So thank you, Mr. Master Goer, for setting us straight on that. You are absolutely right. I am not a biologist. All right, but anyway, So Dragon Age Origins not doing great considering it's a Dragon Age game. Dustborn, 17 left. It's basically on its way out, pretty dead.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Helldivers 2, which has grown actually. It was like in the past few weeks it was like 33 something. Now it's at 51. Maybe it's because it's Saturday afternoon, but I think it's coming back in a way.
I think they're making good on their appeal. Like if you go back down a little bit and look at the mountain range, you know, you can actually see it's ratcheting back up.
Yeah, I think people are getting, because they're making a lot of positive changes to the game. There's only so much they can do, again, like I've said before, but I still enjoy Helldivers 2. I love the first one. I played it with my friends all the time. And so I kind of like it's got like a soft spot for me. I have a soft spot for this one. Then we got Space Marine 2, which is still, you know, rocking and rolling. It's steady. I think there's going to be more content coming for this. And of course, I love it because it's manly as fuck. And, you know, I'm also like, I generally opposed to heresy. So, and what else we got? Oh, Suicide Squad. Let's do Suicide Squad.
A year later.
Justice League. A year later. It's been a year. 228. They've lost people, quite a few. Yeah, it's kind of, and I think that there's been more like content for this because it is like a, what do you call it? It is a
live service.
A live service game. Yeah. Starfield. Starfield. Fucking pronouns. 7,441. That's it's okay. So it's hanging in there. What else?
Sky.
No Man's Sky. Yeah.
Yeah. Since that is the direct parallel.
This was one my wife and I wanted to play. 18,000. So it's actually doing better, right? Starfield's at 7,000.
Yep.
Wow. And this game's been out since
it's like a decade.
2016. So like 8 years this game's been out. Okay, what else? What's another one that we should look the numbers for? Homeworld 3.
Yep.
Homeworld 3. I always look at this one. 53 people. Oof. Not a lot going on there.
How's the Wukong doing? The Black Myth
Wukong. Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong. Here we go. 18,000. Again, not bad for a single player game. I think it's just like the initial hype has passed. Is Dragon Ball Sparking on here? That's probably massive.
I believe it is a Steam game. I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Sparking Zero, right? This is the newest one.
Yeah.
15,000. That's actually not as many as I thought, but it did have a massive peak there at 22,000. All-time peak 122,000. So I think this one is like online, so it's gonna have like a steady, a steady.
It's got a good user base of Dragon Ball fans that are going to,
those same Mexicans that voted for Trump. I understand that when this game was released, all of the MS-13 guys like took a day off to play it. So I kid.
Yeah,
okay.
Hilarious.
So Dean Domino sent a super chat and says some games to look at are at Ion Blade League, The Precinct, and Thousands Layered Blade Reforged. Kind of gives me Okami vibes. Well, I can't look at those now because I think we got to end the show here, Dean Domino. But I do actually have the Precinct demo, and I'm going to be playing through that demo and making a video of it. So I'm excited to try that out. I'm just kind of curious about how that would like be. It does look interesting to me. I also, I don't know if you saw it, but I put up, hold on a second here. Some of these windows accidentally shrunk.
I know you had a big conversation with a whole bunch of indie people the other day.
I did. I spoke to, I have more coming soon, but I would say if you're interested, thank you, Dean Domino, really appreciate that. I will definitely look into those, and maybe even if there's demos available, I'll make videos about them. But I was going to say that if you're interested in like a deeper conversation, I'm not saying that these aren't deep. I think they are. But I had on Aiden Paladin, who has her own channel, very big. I've known her for a long time, and I've had her on my show over at Honey Badger Radio. She is a woman who is trying to use valid forms of social science. And she's pretty good. She's very good at this. And she's a really great researcher. And she made a really great video that is all about whether or not there is evidence or that data shows that representation actually matters. And it's a very great video. It's pretty long, but I had her on my show to talk about it. And I would say, you know, please check that video out. I also have a bunch of little shorts that went up regarding that, my conversation with her. I'm not going to spoil the answer, but I think you guys know. And I've also, and I also have plans to appear on the streams run by the Game Jam guys. We're going to do some, I think it's going to be on their channel. I'm waiting to find out. I don't really know how that's going to be, but that should be fun to do as well. And I have more interviews with more guys that participated in the Game Jam, more demos. I just, like I said, did Spirit X Strike. Next, I'm going to do Burning Sword Death Sun, which is another Chinese game. The thing is, the Chinese are putting out content, and I know that, like, I've even said that, you know, we should be aware that, you know, since the Chinese government essentially owns the corporations, that we are in essence supporting the Chinese government when we buy their products. But the truth is that, like, we can do that until we should do something until the Western devs get their shit together, because they're like, if we were supporting them, then they'll have to make change. So Burning Sword Death Sun. I also got a really funny game called Mad Streets, which I think is going to be hilarious. So be on the lookout for those on this channel later. John, what do you got going on?
So obviously tomorrow I'm going to be doing WTF Live, where we talk about Doctor Who stuff, which is what I mentioned earlier at the start of the show. I've just been watching a lot of Doctor Who, getting prepped for that. Got a reality-based Old White Road tomorrow around midday. It'll be so I guess it's 9 a.m. In the morning for Who TF Live, and then 4 p.m. and these are all Pacific time, so 4 p.m. for reality based, and then midnight is when Stupenzo does his show now late at night. And so that's kind of like, you know, like my sorbet for the week. I just kind of like on Sunday it's kind of like a little bit more laid back. Tuesday, Will of the Fans. The thing that I said I was going to mention, I now have added yet another channel that I'm doing panel streams to. I have an open standing invitation to go on Tomby's Wednesday Chinwags whenever I have the free time, which basically means I'm going to be on the Chinwag pretty much every Wednesday going forward. And yeah, so, you know, Will of the Fans again on Thursday, reality based on Fridays, and then, you know, stuff with Neon Leon late in the evening, and then we'll be back here again next week. So I stream like every day of the week now, except for Mondays. And so like, I don't know how that happened in the span of under 3 months, but here it is. But, you know, I guess it's one of those things that speaks to that whole kind of like, you know, you go out and you actually do something, you just kind of like keep focusing on what you're doing rather than, you know, like even if there's, you know, kind of ebbs and flows, you just got to keep your nose to the grindstone, do the thing. And, you know, eventually like it will kind of work itself through. And that's kind of my next issue is just trying to figure out a pathway to some level of monetization. Which might actually be coming in the next few days. I'm talking to a friend here locally who's his wife has a merchandise online store, and so I will possibly be you know, a spokesperson of sorts for their line of merch. So like I might actually have some problematic white guy shirts and cups and mugs and all that kind of jazz here in the very near future. So
all right.
Other than that,
for you. Hopefully that works out.
Yeah, and other than that, I would just say, you know, safe travels ahead. Have a wonderful weekend going forward, and of course, be awesome as always. And you know, it's been great, and I can't wait to be here again next week.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I think that I think the sun is rising, and well, I think we're gonna see some opportunities, but this is the point where we got to roll up our sleeves and really get to work. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we talked about on the show today. And please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Long live Vivian.
feeling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.